Hello family, it's Top 5 and we're going to start with Barcelona. So Barcelona have got a new manager. Those of you that have been watching the YouTube channel, you would know the story of how even Pochettino was approached and he said no to Barcelona. That's another video. Because this bit is about what Quique Setien has been doing with Barcelona. Not a lot, but enough evidence there that is different to Valverde. For instance, how about training? Well, he started with a double session on his second day in charge and nobody protested. They can't, obviously, he's the manager. But also training session on the day of the game. I don't think that's ever happened with Barcelona. Meeting, yes, but a training session? Well, that means that he's identified that the team needs to sharpen up a little bit, that he wanted to have hours with them, to tell them what he wanted of them. And what is it that he wanted? Well, to start with, the first thing that happened on the pitch was that they passed the ball a lot more than with Valverde, with an average of 650 passes per game. We're talking about 1,000, over 1,000 for the first game of Quique Setien in charge. Now, those stats we haven't seen since the Pep Guardiola era. 82.6% possession, third in the record stats of La Liga in terms of possession, the other two with Pep Guardiola. But doesn't mean that this will be Pep Guardiola team or a team that will win as much as with Pep Guardiola, but it means that the media and the fans are identifying very clearly with what's happening. So a lot of passes. How did he manage to do that? Well, first of all, with the way he put the team on the pitch. It was one day attacked, three at the back, the two centre-backs and the right-back, Sergio Roberto, that joined them, and they built from there. Remember that in the past, Barcelona struggled when they had only the two centre-backs building and then a centre midfield and Busquets. Even if he dropped, it just wasn't working very well. It was relatively easy to stop Barcelona building from the back. It was harder this way, with them three, with Busquets in front of them. And there were five midfielders, so it was in that 3-5-2 formation. So a lot of players around the ball, and that's important both for defensive and offensive reasons. When you lose the ball, a lot of players there to recover it. When they have it, a lot of opportunities to give the ball. So 1-2 touches, a lot of dynamism, a lot of movement, and that certainly showed that Barcelona was more awake than in recent times. It was difficult against Granada because they defend really well. They didn't attack a lot. They hit the post once. But when they got a player sent off, they just defended in their own box. And there, when they do that, every team struggles. Manchester City, Liverpool, Barcelona, unless you've got Messi. Messi saved the day for Barcelona, of course, that's no change. Ansu Fati was playing on the right-hand side. Messi was the false nine, and on the left-hand side you had Griezmann. During the game, we saw Riqui Puig, which was the first substitution of Quique Setien, and that is telling you something. He's trying to say, youngsters, yeah, Riqui Puig, who looks 12, but actually is 21, is somebody that's come through the ranks, and he looks like a little bit, I'm not saying he is him, but he looks a little bit like Iniesta. Plays himself in that position on the left-hand side, has got the ability to dribble, but generally to pass the ball with fluidity. And Jordi Alba was up and down the flank. Those are the things that Quique Setien has done with Barcelona. We'll have to keep a closer eye to see how the team develops. I think there'll be more possession than with Valverde for sure, but that means that teams will defend deep, so he's going to have to work very hard at link-ups that open up that defense. It was interesting to see Arturo Vidal there, but I think they're still looking for a striker, with Luis Suarez being missing for 3-4 months. Piatek of Milan, AC Milan, is somebody that was liked in the past, and they're keeping an eye with the possibility of getting him on loan the rest of the season with an option to buy. So we'll see what happens with it. And that's Barcelona. What next? Real Madrid. Real Madrid, everything seems to be working, and it's down partly to the fact that everybody's confident. That confidence you just cannot give in a spoon with a bit of sugar and think that it will work straight away. It's something that you have to work during weeks. Zidane told those that weren't playing or weren't fit or weren't actually at their best, your time will arrive. And the time has arrived for Modric, who didn't start very well but is playing very well. Isco as well is having his moment. Even Marcelo, who for me is like a former professional, is still getting some minutes. Lucas Vázquez started the game too. So you're talking about Real Madrid in which everybody feels important. Second important point is that physically the team is very well. Gregory Dupont, who was the physical coach of France when they won the World Cup, Celtic, Lille as well, when Hazard was there, is calculating that they're picking now. They may just drop a little bit. By the time of April, May, they will pick again April, March, April. There will be 2 picks of the season, and it will be a Real Madrid that will compete very well at a time when they have to, when the big important games take place. So Benzema is the only one scoring for them, is it? Well, not really. He's the only striker scoring for them, because the only striker they're really using is now the midfielders who for 8 consecutive weeks, all defenders, not the usual, not the forwards who have been scoring for them. In 8 consecutive weeks, you had one of them scoring twice in the case of Casemiro. Formation is changing all over when it's needed. So Casemiro, instead of being the guy in front of the defense, Zidane changed things around. He's done it 10 times, 10 different formations, and put Modric and Kroos in front of the defense. Easier to build from there with the Sevilla that was putting a lot of pressure, and Casemiro in front of them. Well, Casemiro thought, okay, I'm an attacker now. Got into the box, scored twice. Great finish for the first one. So everything is working for Real Madrid, and it seems like you have to count on them for the Champions League. How about Atletico Madrid? Atletico Madrid are going through a difficult and strange period, one in which you will expect much more from everybody. With the team, you expect more from the team, but instead they're throwing away 45 minutes sometimes. And that's been said by Saul a lot of times already this season. Sometimes the last 45 minutes, sometimes the first 45 minutes. They don't seem to have consistency. They had 4 new players in the lineup this weekend, and they don't seem to have new energy into the side. Joao Felix seems depressed, not happy at all. Morata goes for periods that he scores and then he doesn't. And generally, this is a team that is not fulfilling their potential. The defeat against Eibar was completely deserved. Eibar deserved the 3 points, 2-0 at Eibar. First time ever that Eibar gets a victory against Atletico Madrid. And Simeone was mourning a little bit because the players didn't give him what he wanted. Now, why is it that they aren't? We've discussed this many times. This Atletico Madrid seems to be going a little bit through or hitting a wall, as if they don't seem to be getting the level that it's expected with the money that we spend. And why spend 127 million on one player? I'm just starting to think if Simeone is wondering if helping Atletico Madrid move into another generation of players or another squad, having built another squad, if it's time for him to go. If it's time for him to think, okay, my time is up. Because that will happen when he wants. Atletico Madrid not in a rush to push him, but keeping an eye on others that actually are available, just in case. Pochettino will suit Atletico Madrid, wouldn't he? But there are others. Allegri, would he fancy coming to Atletico Madrid? So that's happening, but it will be this decision of Simeone, who wants another striker, Cavani. Atletico Madrid only offering 10 million, PSG asking for 30 million, and saying publicly he's available because they expect either Chelsea or Spurs to come back, or at least to transform the interest into an offer and make a little bit of an auction. Cavani wants to leave. PSG has said publicly, we're not happy to let him go, but if anybody puts the right money, they're asking for 30 million. Nobody's offering that right now. Next, I'm going to talk to you about La Liga TV, a new channel. So there's a new channel in the UK. It's La Liga TV. A lot of you were asking, why is there no more information or more shows on La Liga in the UK? Well, we are back, if you like. And guess what? Actually, just passing by, we've got a presenter of La Liga TV. Ta-da! Semra Hunter.
Hello, everyone.
I'm going to move from this chair. I'm going to give you the chair because I'd like you to explain to our YouTube friends what's happening with La Liga TV.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Guillem. Hello, everyone. As I said, I'm Semra Hunter. I'm one of the friendly faces that you'll be seeing on your TV screens in the UK. If that's where you happen to be, you can find us on Sky, channel 435, still free for 1 more week, so get on that as soon as you possibly can, as well as Virgin Channel 554, so make sure you do join us. And for those of you who want to find us elsewhere, digitally, online, well, Premier Sports are the place to be. That's the place where you have to go to find us. So, he obviously told you everything you want to know about Barcelona, about Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, but of course, it's not just about those 3 big teams. There's plenty of other fabulous teams and quality football from top to bottom. Just looking at this weekend alone, we saw so many teams at the very bottom half of the table beating teams at the very top. As Guillem already mentioned, Atletico Madrid for the first time ever lost to Eibar. That was a huge scalping for the mighty team in a tiny little town of 27,000 people. We saw Espanyol. I know Guillem is very happy about this one. Yay! So tremendous football from top to bottom, and we certainly want you to know all about it. And that's why we are here on LaLiga TV, to inform all of you about all of our teams, all of our 20 teams, that is, across Spain. So what will you be able to watch whenever you tune into LaLiga TV? Well, we have plenty of programs. We have 13 different programs for you. So to give you a little bit of a highlight of some of the most important ones, of course, the big one, La Liga Live, that is what I present every single weekend. That is the match day coverage. That is all of the pre-match analysis, all of the post-match analysis. And as I'm sure you may know, may not know, it's quite different to the Premier League in the sense that every single game has its own unique time slot. So we have games Friday night, Saturday, and all of Sunday, which means that no games overlap. So you have a unique preview and a post for each and every game. 26 hours worth of matches, as well as all of the coverage and the analysis. Apart from that, during the week, you have Viva La Liga, an hour and a half magazine program from Monday to Friday. There's all different sorts of topics that are covered. Every single day has its own unique theme. And apart from that, we also do quite a lot of player interviews. Myself, travel around Spain, sit down with all of the different players who, of course, can speak English with us. Some big names from all of the 20 teams. But I'm not the only one who gets to travel around Spain, or the world rather in this case, to talk to footballers present and past about some of the most important things that are happening in La Liga. And that is Talking Football, which is hosted none other by Mr. Quique Balague himself. So I'll hand it back over to him now. He can tell you a little bit more about his new show.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm back. Just to tell you about that show, La Liga Talking Football. It's been already, we filmed some of them. Xavi, we went to Qatar, Xavi Hernandez, and it was emotional to see him train for the first time. We've seen him grow, having difficulties to get into the lineup, eventually winning, eventually becoming one of the most important players in the history of La Liga. And now he's the one giving the instructions. So we spoke to him. And Gavi Fernandez, who's there, former captain of Atletico Madrid. What a contrast of the football education. Well, they're trying to find some common ground. I'm about to leave where I am now, Barcelona, to go to Porto to talk to Iker Casillas. I'll inform you how that goes. On Sunday, I was with Andres Iniesta in his house, well, in his man cave. Is that how you call it? Man cave. Because he in his garage, he's got this bar area and bodega and everything, and that's where we did the interview. And it was not your usual interview. That's what Talking Football is about. We will chat without an agenda about anything, his tough moments in football and what he's learned from it, and also obviously some of the heights and the people that have helped him through all of it. I went to Bilbao to talk, and this was like an amazing decision to put together Iribar in his 70s, perhaps the best goalkeeper in the history of La Liga, Atleti Bilbao, legend who still travels with the side and still looks very imponent, and Iñaki Williams, who has signed, as you know, a 9-year deal with Atleti Bilbao with a buyout clause of 135 million euros because he wants to stay at Atleti Bilbao. He wants to be Iribar. And the contrast of their stories, Iribar saying that until 15 he didn't have a coach. He just played football, and eventually they got a little bit more structured, but it was very amateurish in the way they approached the game. Eventually he even won a cup with Atleti Bilbao and won the European Championship with Spain as well. But he was given the black shirt, the goalkeeper shirt. Before that, he will have to go to a shop and buy the thing, the piece of clothing that he needed, and will ask the person at the shop to cut it for him and to do it in the style that he wanted. That's how he used to go. And the boots would be the same boot for like 2 or 3 years, not like Iñaki Williams, but Iñaki Williams' story is one of a family that left Ghana and got to Spain. Took them months. Why? Because they walked to Spain without shoes. So, for instance, his dad doesn't have any sensibility in his feet, and he was telling us about all that, how at 12 there'd be no food on the table, no light either because they couldn't pay it, and his mother especially, because dad had to go to England, to London actually, to work, to get money for the family. Mom will clear houses as well, and that's how they got brought up. He never forgets this, that's where he comes from. He feels himself very Basque, of course. He was signed by Atleti Bilbao as an 18-year-old, but he was born in Navarra, in Pamplona, next to the Basque country. And all that is the kind of things that we talk about. Now, the thing is, it doesn't go anywhere, that interview. It doesn't go on YouTube. You won't see it much on Twitter. It's all in the channel. You have to see it via the channel. So you got the information in the part before with Semra. Thank you very much for her guest appearance, and thank you everybody. Now I have to go. I have to catch a plane because I'm going to Porto. Sin casillas. Not great. Bye.